I'm going to talk about something a bit more strategic and a bit more tactical. So we've had quite a lot of mindset and a lot of things that you need to do to prepare yourself to be able to go online. So what I want to talk about is more on how to apply certain skills, especially those of you that are already working on the gym floor. There's a lot of skills that you guys may have that you don't know how to translate online, and it's a completely different ball game. And some of this will be so simple and so basic, but there's a lot of coaches that are not doing it. So by you being here and by you guys picking up some of these skills, you're already going to put yourself ahead of the competition, and business is competitive. So you should be ready to compete. So essentially what I'm going to talk about is how you guys can book more sales calls every single week, right? And at the end of the day, for you to grow your coaching business, you need to have sales calls, right? You need to actually sell something. So what's the process of getting someone from not knowing you to knowing you to then being interested to then buying from you? And that's a whole journey in itself. So next one for me, please. One thing we haven't really spoke about, retention, right? Retention is obviously very important to your business, but another part of your business is actually having consistent lead flow. Because although, yes, we want to focus on retention and keeping people within the business, there are some times that you may have a bad month. There may be a time where you lose 2 or 3 clients, right? And I don't know about you guys, but especially when I started, if I lost a client, we spoke about separating yourself from the business. I would be like, I'll be crying, not crying literal tears, but I want to cry. And I wouldn't know, in my mind, I didn't have an abundance mindset. So I didn't realize that even if I lose one, I'm going to get three more this month. But when I started to have consistent lead flow, if I lost a client, it didn't hurt me as much. Obviously, I don't want to lose clients, right? No one does. But it's going to happen. It's a part of the journey. So when it does happen, if you know you've got consistent lead flow, you won't sweat it. You're like, okay, cool, no problem. I'm not going to get another 2 or 3 this month anyway, so it's okay. Next one for me, please, Michael. So I just want to put things into perspective here. Instagram has 30 million active users. Yeah, this is for the UK, right? Daily active users. Facebook, 45 million. And LinkedIn, I think I read about 29 million. So what does that tell you? I want you guys to start to think, okay, we might not have access to that many people, but there's that many people on the platform. I don't need that many people. If I did, that'd be great. But I only need, who's heard the saying of 1,000 true fans? No one? Everyone? Cool. The reality is I don't need that many people. I just need a small subset of them, right? And we know the statistics in terms of health and weight in this country. So let's just cut this in half, right? Let's say it's 15 million. That's still a lot of people, right? Let's say it's 10 million. It's still a lot of people. I only need to have a successful online coaching business, 30, 40. That's good enough for me. Obviously, I want more, but that's a good starting point. I can go full time from doing that. So if we know there's this many people, are you telling me you can't get 30 people? You can, right? So just the perspective of knowing the numbers can give you more confidence, and there's more opportunity than you think. And when I say that, I want you guys to start to think about how difficult it would have been 20 or 30 years ago. You'd have to get ads out in the newspaper, maybe try and get on TV, something like that. We've got an opportunity here just by putting ourselves out there to attract so many people. So you just have to remember that. Next one for me, please, Michael. So when you're a PT in a gym, as long as you're a good person, you're a good PT, and you're personable, you're sociable, you talk to people, you will attract clients, right? You teach classes, people are like, oh, Jav, how much is it to work with you one-to-one? Now, you might be a great PT, you might teach amazing classes, best classes in the world. But when it comes to social media, you don't translate that personality. You don't talk to people, you don't interact, you don't put yourself out there. I'm not saying you guys, but what a lot of PTs do. So if we can start to bring that personality that you have to online, I promise you, you're going to make a big difference. You're going to be able to attract the kind of people that you want if you start to treat your social media in the same way. And the way that I like to think about it is the same way that I walk around the gym floor, I check how someone's doing technique, and I might say to them, hey, you can fix this here, blah, blah, blah. I treat my social media the same way. If I see someone posting something and I think, you could probably do that a bit better, I'll say something in a nice way, of course. I'm not criticizing them. And I'm just creating more conversations. And the more conversations I have, that's the start of the sales mechanism. That's the start of the sales cycle. So you need to be prepared and be willing to have those conversations. Next one for me. So, like I said, hands up if you had a cold DM on any social media, like a cold DM trying to sell you something. Yeah, cool, everybody. So what I'm gonna be talking about is ethical outreach. Now, am I saying that cold messages are bad? No, I've done my fair share of cold messaging, but it's not always ethical. It doesn't always feel good because you're like forcing people to try and buy something from you. And I don't know about you, but when I get a cold DM at this point, I'll continue the conversation just to see what they say. So I want to talk to you about how we can have more conversations without sending cold DMs. And that's what's going to help you build your coaching business. So these are a few sources that we can use to have 30 or 40 conversations a day. without spamming, all right? Because I don't want to be a spammer, and I've done it before, and I didn't find it successful. So yeah, take pictures if you need to. So the first part is new followers. Anyone that lands on your page, I treat it like someone walking in my house. If you walked in my house, I didn't offer you no tea, no coffee, no water, what would you say to me? You say, this guy's an arsehole. I do it to him because he knows me. But, but someone walks in my house, I'm gonna offer them something. You want a tea, mate? Cool. So every new follower that walks or lands on your page, you should be welcoming them. Just, it could be a voice note, could be a little message. And I've got some examples I'll show you guys in a second. But that simple welcome message, whether they give you a thumbs up, you're gonna get ignored by some people, who cares? They're following you, right? And again, like I said at the start, this is just the start of the sales cycle. It's just the beginning, just the very beginning. Current followers, so people that are already following you, but you've never reached out to them, okay? And this, some people sleep on this because they don't really, it's like, oh, they're following me, it's weird. Well, you don't be weird. If you're not weird, then it's not weird, right? And I put pink suit method, right? So for those of you that don't understand what that means, I had a mentor and he explained this to me, like the problem with like sending too many cold messages is if we were all wearing black suits right now and someone in here was wearing a pink suit, what would you say to the guy in the pink suit or the girl in the pink suit? You would say something about their suit, right? So when you message somebody who's a current follower who you haven't spoken to, and if you're following them or you know something about them or you see something on their page, say something relevant. Don't just say something random. And that way it doesn't come across as weird. It could be they got loads of travel photos. Oh, I noticed you travel a lot. What do you do for work that allows you to do that? Something very light. All you're doing is having a conversation. We want to start as many convos as possible. Content engagement. So this is people liking your posts, watching your Instagram stories, commenting, voting on your polls, blah, blah, blah. So this is where posting content becomes so important because the more content that we post, the more opportunities we have to start new conversations. So when I get onto people that work with us and I'm like, you ain't posted in 2 weeks, I'm not doing it because I'm an arsehole. I'm telling you because I need you to start giving yourself an opportunity to then have more conversations. And that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to create opportunities. And not every conversation is going to be a sell, but again, it's the start of the sales cycle. So that's really why the content side is actually important. And then just some proactive engagement. And I'm gonna actually start from the bottom up here because when we go online, we wanna dominate the world. But what if we could dominate our postcode first? What if we could win our postcode first? So when I say local areas, think about 5 or 10 local shops, local places that have a good Instagram following. Those are the places you can start engaging in the comments. You can start engaging with people that are in the comments or liking the content. So start there. Other accounts in your industry. So depending on what your niche is, you should have 5 or 10 people that have the audience that you want that are in the fitness industry. I always think about like, when I do men, I think about, okay, who's coaching a lot of men? It might be some bodybuilding pages, so on and so forth. And then I think about accounts outside of the industry that still have my audience. So, you know, a big part of what I used to do is like, I'll look at pages that maybe like men's hair loss. I go on those pages, I see loads of men in the comments and engage with those people. So you got to think, if it's women, if it's like menopausal women, it might be Davina McCall. Her page is like always about women. You got to start thinking about where are the people that you would like to work with. And that's why Damo spoke about niching, Shiv spoke about niching. Niching down is really important because once you got an idea of who your niche is, that becomes so much easier. And when you struggle with that, it's hard to find out where they're hanging out. Move on for me. So just some good practices that I want you to be mindful of, yeah? Not every conversation is going to be a sell. Get that out of your head. I used to be like that. I want to just every convo is a sell. Unfortunately, it's not. But every conversation is the beginning of that sales cycle. So if you view it from that lens, you're less likely to put the pressure on yourself to push that person to hop on a call. Yes, you're going to suggest it at some point down that conversation, but not every conversation leads to a sell. You have to be genuine. You have to make it personable, which is kind of why the more that I do what I do, I'm against giving people scripts. I don't really want to give you guys like DM scripts and stuff because imagine I'm going to the bar to talk to a girl and I come up with some lines that are pre-made. She's not going to listen to me. I've got to have something genuine about me that connects us two. So you got to start to think more about, okay, how can I have a genuine conversation rather than just blitzing them with a script? So these are just some simple things I might say. Imagine someone, I see loads of photos and they're on holiday in Mexico. I might actually ask them about it. I might say, hey, thanks for the follow. Noticed you in Mexico a few months back. I'm looking to go there for my birthday. Do you recommend it? That's such a light conversation. And then from there, there's a few things. I call it a hook. How can I hook this conversation into something about fitness? That's all I'm trying to do. I'm looking for the hook. So it might be, what do you do for work? Okay, does that keep you busy? I've got a few clients that do the same thing. They struggle with managing food, nutrition. Okay, it might be kids. Kids is a little bit weird. So if you've got kids, it's easier, but I don't have kids, so that's a bit more of a difficult one. Kids, travel, job, things like that. So you've got to find ways to hook those conversations into something about fitness. And the more conversations you have, the easier it becomes. So you might not be good now, but again, moving someone from cold to a booked call is a process, and you have to be ready to do that. And another variation of this, and it's a bit more advanced technique for some of you guys, but it's something you guys should be working on, is at the end of a conversation, even if you don't get them on a call, you can offer them something. You offer what we call a lead magnet. So a lead magnet could be a workout booklet, nutrition pack, a mindset pack, something like that. You offer them something as, hey, okay, cool. Well, you're not ready for a call now, but I'll just drop this over if you're interested. Boom. That way, you keep the line of communication open, because what happens after this, you can then follow them up. 2 weeks later, hey, how did you get on with the pack? Did you start using it? Easy ways to start convos. Next one for me. So now we're going to talk about how to actually do some of this stuff, right? So connecting with followers. If you're already following me, I usually like to start it by leading with value, because you're already following me. You probably know what I do to some degree. So I try to start a conversation based on value. I'll say something genuine about what's happening, but this is something like I would probably say. Like I'll probably lead with something like this. But the main thing is I want to push them to a workout video, a podcast, something like that. Try and see. So I'll say, check their profile and see if I can say something personable, right? When I do that, I don't even try to sell them anything. I just blast them something over. So I'll say, look, hey, Name, I know we've been following each other for a while. I've never actually spoken to you. I appreciate you engaging on my profile. I've been working hard on this new 2-week training program to help men build more muscle while spending less time in the gym. Happy to blast it over if you're up for it. Just something light. It's going to be a yes or a no. So it doesn't matter. If it's a no, I'll move on. I'll message someone else. So again, because they're already following me, I'd rather lead with value than try and push them to something. This is something I'm giving you for free. It could be the podcast. It could be something. You guys might, it doesn't have to be a podcast. It could be a workout, a free workout. And guess what? Even if you ain't got nothing, there's something called ChatGPT. And all you have to do is go on ChatGPT and type in, create a 2-week workout plan for a woman that wants to lose 30 pounds and build more muscle. ChatGPT will give you the workout. You copy and paste it. You make it nice on Canva, download it as a PDF, and you're done. It's done. That's a lead magnet right there. You don't even have to make it. 9 times out of 10, I give away stuff before I've even made it. Then I want to see who's interested, and then I'll make it quickly. You don't have to make it. So just think about that. Another way you can start convos, and this is something that I've been doing a lot more recently, especially if you follow them, is respond to their stories, especially if they're active on social media. This applies to Facebook, this applies to Instagram, this will apply to LinkedIn to some degree as well. If they are active, respond to what they're putting up, right? So if they're posting, fancy restaurant meals, if they're posting they're away on holiday or they're doing something, respond to that. Have a conversation based on that. Because again, like I said at the start, all we're doing is trying to start conversations, all right? We want to start conversations. Next one for me. So connecting with people that are engaging with you. So that's the people that are liking your content, commenting, so on and so forth. Firstly, you need to thank them for their support. Just say, look, thanks for engaging with that, blah, blah, blah. Because people like to feel appreciated. So always thank them. That's what I like to do. And then, again, I can't really give you a script for this, but you want to say something specific about the post you made. And actually, Damo actually said something before. He said the same thing. But you might say something like, let's say I did a post about how to build your biceps or something like that. And I might say, hey, thanks for liking the post, blah, blah, blah. Is that something that you're working on at the moment? It's such an easy question. I'm not giving you guys any rocket science here, but guess what? It starts the sales cycle quite quickly, because if they're liking something that's very specific, there must be a reason why they liked it. They might be engaging in it. They might be actually trying to work on that. And if I find out that they're working on it, guess what? Now I can see, okay, what else are you struggling with? How long have you been trying to do this? Then I can say, okay, well, actually my program solves this problem. Would you be interested in the call? Boom, boom, boom. So that's why getting people to engage in content is very important. Now, in terms of people in the industry that have a massive audience, your local hotspots, Facebook groups, when you know your niche, this stuff gets a lot easier. But when you know your niche, you can find out where they are and have these conversations. So I like to do a 15-minute blast in the morning where I leave loads of comments. And on Instagram, you can have the favorites, right? You can favorite pages. So I don't look at Instagram as a social platform. I look at it as a business platform. It's business media, not social media. So I have maybe 20 pages, that I favorite. And that's the only that's the only feed I actually look at. 15 minutes, I'll just blast out 10 or 15 comments. I will respond to people in the comments, because you know what? Someone like Shiv, right? She's got like 400 and something K on IG. If she's got a post, yeah, talking about weight loss that has like 300 comments, she's not going to respond to everybody. But guess what? I can wiggle my way in there and start responding to people in the comments. And they're going to see all these comments from me answering questions, and they're going to be like, right, who's this guy? They're going to start following me. And guess what? My page becomes more visible by doing that. So 15 minutes a day. I'm not asking for the world here. 15 minutes a day. Another part is share relevant content and then tag the page, especially for local hotspots, local areas. So something I'll do is, if I go out to eat at a small restaurant, in the area, whatever it may be, I might share it and I'll just tag them, if they got like initiatives going on. You guys need to start engaging with your community. When you do that, tag them. They'll share it, especially if it's not like a massive page, they will likely share it. And all we're doing here is we're just building that network. We're just connecting with more people, right? So it's quite simple. It's nothing crazy, but it helps. Next one for me, please. So I've got a challenge for all of you guys. Of course, there's always a challenge. And it's quite simple. By the end of this week, so Sunday, or by the start of Monday, I want you guys to try and do some of this stuff. Message 5 to 10 people that are viewing your stories. Message 5 to 10 people that have liked any of your last 5 posts. Go on.
David, I reckon they could do that today.
Oh.
I reckon they should do it now.
Do it now. Do it now. Get your phone out.
I hear a lot of procrastination amongst this group.
I agree.
They could do it now. Challenge them. Give them 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes. Cool. Damo said it. You got 5 minutes. Cool.
5 minutes.
Create a poll or a quiz on Instagram or Facebook, and I want you to message everybody that votes by the end of the day. Leave 5 comments in a Facebook group or an Instagram page that has your audience. Okay, so this is your challenge. And Damo's right. By the end of today, you should do that. You should do it by the end of today, because there's no reason why you can't. It's happening. It's people are doing it. And guess what? Like I said, we're in a competitive industry. Who thinks that online coaching is saturated? I hear it all the time. Saturated, right? Saturated. Everything's saturated. How many chicken shops are there? How many McDonald's shops are there? How many burger shops are there? Everything's saturated. So if you aren't doing what the competition is doing and more, they're beating you. And I don't know about you, but I'm competitive, bro. If me and you are in a fight, one of us is dying. That's how serious I take this. So, and I know that's a bit morbid, but like, I'm just telling you how competitive I take this. Like, and maybe it's coming from a sports background or whatever, but I know that my competition, they're doing things that I don't know how to do yet. So I've got to find out any way I can get an advantage. And this is one way, a very easy way, simple way. It's not going to take too much. Next one for me, please. So these are just some general numbers for success. Now, don't worry too much, because I know some people were in different situations where work, family, blah, blah, blah. And again, depending on what your situation is, I want to say there's no excuses, because you can do this. This is not too much, but start to think about it. You should be trying to have 30 or 40 new conversations per day, all right? You should be doing 30 to 40 follow-ups a day. Now, this will build over time, so don't, at the start, obviously, if you ain't been doing it, you ain't gonna have any follow-ups to do. So, but over time, you're gonna notice that maybe some people don't respond, and that's fine. But then 2 weeks later, you just pop up with another message, like, hey, did you get my last message, blah, blah, blah. Don't be a pest, but some cases you can be a pest. I'll be honest with you, like my philosophy is I follow up until I get blocked. So, but I'm not saying you gotta be like me, but I just have this mindset of, well, if they're not gonna buy from me, they're gonna buy from someone else anyway. So I might as well keep following up. So do that as you wish. I'm not gonna judge you for that. You wanna try to aim to book at least 3 to 5 calls a day. Now, that's not always gonna be possible. Some days it will be 2, some days it will be 1. But the more calls you have, the more opportunities you have to make sales, right? And especially when you're in the early stages, I recommend following accounts that have your, I recommend following people that are your ideal audience. So your ICA, your ideal client avatar, something that we spoke about before. These are people that, suit your program. So if it is women, you want to look at their pages and see, is that someone that works for me? And if you don't, and that's for Instagram, but if you're on Facebook, it might be send a friend request to 30 or 40 people that suit your ideal client avatar. That's really important, because unless your following is really growing through organic content or you're doing paid ads, then you've actually got to start putting yourself out there a bit more, because we've got this idea that if I start posting content, people are going to reach out to me. People are not always going to be ready to take that first step. And people are much more wiser and more clued up with the online system now. So you are sometimes going to have to make that first step. And unless you are someone like Shiv, who your page starts to blow up, then it's a lot harder to have people to just reach out to you. It doesn't happen like that. You've got to initiate, not all of it, but sometimes you do have to initiate that first conversation. So This is the part that people do not enjoy. Trust me, I don't enjoy it either, but it has to be done. And that is tracking data. If you had a client who didn't lose any weight and they didn't track anything, you might suggest, I know some people like to, don't do the calorie counting thing, that's fine. But let's just say we are. You might suggest to them, hey, you should probably start tracking your calories, right? Or at least keep a food diary if you ain't gonna track calories, right? You would say that. So why don't we do the same thing for our coaching business? We don't do that, but we have to start thinking of it in the same way. It's like tracking calories. So these are some of the things that we track, and there's more, but this is some of the things we track. And if you guys want this template, I'll sort you guys out. Just come see me after. But you can see what the things we track here, right? How many people we followed, or how many people we connected with for the day, how many messages sent, how many people sent us a message, how many new followers or new friends did we get, how many people replied, how many people got sent a calendar link, and then how many calls got booked. You know why this is important? Because if we know that we sent five links a day and we only got one call booked, that tells us what percentage of our messages are actually like people are booking from the messages that we send. So you know why this is all important, and especially who responds. The reason this is important is because I can now tweak my messaging if I realize the numbers are low. So if I send 100 messages and I only get 5 responses, I'm going to be thinking, what's wrong with that first message? Is it too blunt? Is it rude? Is there something wrong with my profile? But I wouldn't know that if I didn't have the data. So now I can make data-driven choices. I remove all the emotion from the equation because you can't have emotions in this game. You just got to take it on the chin and keep moving. But when I know the data, guess what? I can now make changes, bless you. And also, if I notice that, I'm sending 100 messages, I managed to get 2 calls booked from that. If things work in a linear fashion, by that logic, if I send 200, I could hopefully book 4, right? So then I can start to see how I can scale it. I can maybe get an assistant coach to then start adopting my methods. Then I can hire a virtual assistant to help me do more messages. And you can see how, okay, we can easily start to pump out a lot more messages in a week and create more connections. Next one for me, please, Michael. And the next part, obviously, is actually tracking people as well. So how many times do you have a conversation with somebody and maybe they didn't respond, or you was having a really good convo and people get busy. They forget to reply sometimes, right? But you didn't keep their name, and then you got another 50 messages, you got to scroll all the way back and you don't know where they are. It happens to me sometimes. So this is something so simple. Again, if you guys want this worksheet, just meet me after. Wait, I ain't done yet, Michael. Slow down. Yeah. So, and it's quite simple. Put their name here or put their Instagram page. Have it ready. Did they book a call? No? All right. So now I've got to follow up. And you see here, I put 1, 2, 3. I put 3 follow-ups, then a breakup message. Now, I'm lying to you guys. Like I said, I follow up until I get blocked. That's just me. You ain't got to be like me. But 3 or 4, follow up. Let them know, hey, did you get the message? What's going on? Da-da-da. Sometimes I start taking the piss in the comments. I'll be like, oh, we're having a great conversation here. Do you want my podcast? Boom, I just send them a podcast. So I'll be like, oh, I'm really enjoying this conversation. Or I might even do something like this. I might put a name and be like, let's say it's Damo. I might say, Damo, is everything okay? Because he ain't responding. I'll be like, are you okay? Like, is everything okay at home? Because you're not responding. I thought you gone missing for a while. So you got to start having fun. But me, I don't stop. I don't see why I should stop. So just keep going. It's up to you. But anyway, if you don't track it, you don't know where they are. So we want to make sure that no message, no stone goes unturned, especially if you really want to maximize this. I'll tell you, I sold a guy last week or 2 weeks ago on LinkedIn, and I first messaged him November 2021. And I wish I screenshotted, I should have showed you guys. He was just ignoring me. I just kept messaging him, had him on the list. So after a while, every month I just drop him a message. I drop him a podcast. I drop him a YouTube video. I'm just giving him value at this point because he's not responding. Then one day, he's like, oh, here's my number. WhatsApp me instead. I'm like, okay, cool. Still ignoring me. He gave me his number. I'm like, right, he's gonna sign up. He's still ignoring me. So then last month, I was like, you know what? Let me just go through like all these leads. I messaged him again, and he responded. He was like, oh, I got a coach. I'm like, so all this time, he got a coach anyway. And then I waited a little longer. I started posting on LinkedIn again, and he messaged me like 3 weeks ago. And he's like, Jav, I'm getting married in September. I need you. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. You need me now, don't you? So guys, I'm not saying you got to do that. That's extreme. But he was on the list. I was like, you know what? Let me just keep going. It doesn't hurt me to do it. So that's the power of a follow-up. So now I've spoken to you guys about creating conversations, right? but we want people to reach out to us too, right? We don't always want to be in a situation where we're having to chase everybody, because that's not fun. That's not enjoyable. Like, I don't want to do that all the time. So how can we create more inbound conversations? That's obviously without doing paid ads, right? We want to try and do this organically. The first thing, and we spoke about this a lot today actually, is your content. Your content is the gateway to more conversations, right? And these are some simple things that you should try and hit each week. The first thing is one time a week, you should have a very, very strong call to action, in my opinion. And what does that look like? It might be something like, just open 3 slots or 3 consultation calls next week. DM me if you want to drop 20 pounds in the next 8 weeks or whatever it may be. It might be like, it could be a giveaway. It could be like, just recreated my 4-week workout program for busy dads. Drop me a DM if you want a copy. You got a question? Oh,
yes, I have a question
yeah.
from previous slide.
Yeah.
It's obviously important to keep tracking, but when you go online, there's so many platforms, so many messages. So let's say you chat with Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then you have different stages of the conversation. Some stage is just touching ground, the other is maybe someone showing interest, and maybe out of all these hundreds of calls and monitoring stuff, you just have one guy that you put in your system. And on the parallel flow, you're training and you're having your current line. So how you keep like a structured, ongoing conversation of different stages of clients? Do you have
Yeah, so we've got another tracking sheet, but essentially what you want to do is have some type of key system. So you might have a highlight of the name that represents something. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. You might have people that are warm, right? So you might label them in yellow or orange. They're warm leads. Then you might have, and also if you talk about platform, I'll just duplicate that sheet for a different platform. One for IG, one for LinkedIn, one for Facebook. That's what I would do. So I'd have separate pages, and I'll just add depending on what. But generally, I like to focus on one thing at a time. So I don't want to overwhelm myself. So if I'm just doing IG, I'm just going to do IG. But if you get to the stage where you can work on multiple platforms, I would create separate sheets for each platform. Then I would also have like a key system where anyone who's warm, they might be orange. Anyone who's had a call proposed, they might be blue. Anyone who's booked a call, they might be in green. So then that way, I know exactly where each person is in that stage. And then I also have the follow-up part, which you saw, where I know exactly how many touch points I had with them. So then that way, I keep an eye on everything. Yes, it's difficult.
Do you keep track with the profile? I'm not at that stage, but I'm just chatting with people who I know, and I'm making a conversation. But once you reach sending 100 DMs out and 50 people reply, then obviously you have an engaging conversation. Then how do you monitor that? I just find it challenging for me personally, because I have a lot going on my WhatsApp and on daily basis with like commuting quite a big time.
Yeah.
The more it extends, the more challenging it gets.
Business is a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, that's useful to have like color chart, and then you keep like,
So that's why keeping tags or using the key, like highlighting, I like to use a color key, so then I know what stage people are in, and then I can decide who, like then it creates priority on what message you send, who you follow up with quickly. So I like to do it at the end of each day. So that's how I kind of end my shift, my work from home shift. So yeah. One time a week, you should be giving something away. People love free shit. You ever been to Sainsbury's and they're giving away the biscuits? I always take a biscuit. I don't know about you, I always take it. So people love free stuff. You give something away for free, they're going to take it. So one time a week, you should be like, I got this free workout, I got this free nutrition guide, I got this free YouTube training I did. Give it away. People love it. People don't do this enough, but one time a week, you should be going live on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you like to use. You got to get over that fear of getting in front of camera, man. I'm telling you, you go live, you might get one person live. Who cares? That one person might be someone who buys. So go live once a week. I'm telling you, something I'm slacking on right here. Because I'm going away next week. I'm probably going to go live every day when I'm away. So I'm letting you guys know you should be going live once a week. And also, when you do that, people start to expect it. And they're waiting for you to show up. You create almost like a TV show. Like if you just do it consistently, and it will build up over time. Every 2 weeks, you should do what we call a 2-step post or a poll giveaway. I'm going to explain that in a second, so just bear with me. And then every 4 to 6 weeks, I recommend doing a launch post. Again, I'm going to explain that as well. So if you haven't wrote this down, take a picture real quick, but I'm gonna explain the last 2 bits in a second. Next one for me, please. So this is in regards to doing a giveaway on your Instagram stories. Before you give it away, you need to build it up. So don't just post it on your stories like, hey, here's a six-pack guide, download it. No. Build it up, create a little bit of like intrigue. So what I like to do, whether I'm doing a video or whatever, is I always talk about a pain point. And I'll give you guys a perfect example. I might just do a quick story like, do you ever feel like you struggle to manage your nutrition like throughout the whole week, where Monday to Friday you're doing great, but then on Saturday and Sunday it just goes out the window? A lot of people can relate to that. They'll be like, yeah, I feel like that. Then I'll make it relatable, because I'll be like, look, I used to be in that same position, Then I'll say something like, it wasn't until I found this mechanism or this sort of system that helped me manage my nutrition properly. And then I offer myself as a solution. So I just created a nutrition guide that actually solves this problem. And I've been giving it away to my current clients, and I want to give it away to you guys. If you want it, drop me a DM. Or if you want it, vote yes on the poll, whatever it may be. So I'll give you guys some examples. Next one for me, please, Michael. So I put 3 right here so you guys can think about it. So the nutrition one, drop me a DM if you want a free nutrition pack. But before this, I built it up by saying something. I let them know, hey, do you feel this pain? I can relate to you. This is the solution. If you want it for free, DM me. Boom. Poll. This one. Yesterday, I hosted a live workshop about the best supplements for performance in and out of the gym. Who wants the replay? Before I even post this poll, I'll do maybe a couple stories, a video. Do you ever feel confused about supplements? Do you even need whey protein? Do you need magnesium and creatine? I used to be mad confused about this. People are like, yeah, I feel the same way. Well, I just create something to fix that problem. Do you want it? And you might notice here, I say, yes, please send, maybe. I don't put no. I ain't giving no one a chance to say no to me. So I might say, yes, please. I might say maybe, and I might say, tell me more. I'll do something like that. I never put no. Like, I ain't putting no. I don't want to be rejected. So, and then this is just another one for this. So these are just some simple ways, but not enough coaches are doing it. Every week, just do it one time. Don't do it too much. If you do it too much, it gets a little bit like, people are like, oh, this guy's always selling. But once a week. And guess what happens after this? They download it. I give it away to them. I put the name down. I put next to the name, follow up in 10 days. 10 days. Oh, how did you find the guide? What was the most useful takeaway? Are you struggling with that? Okay, cool. How about you get on a call? Make a sell. So simple strategies, guys. And this is all free. Next one for me, please, Michael. And now the 2-step posts. So I said do this every 2 weeks, right? Every 2 weeks. So only 2 times a month. It's not a lot. You should be doing something like this. It doesn't have to be in this method or this manner, but something like this. It's so simple. Just did a live training on the best supplements to boost your performance in and out the gym. Want to stop wasting money on useless supplements? Comment supplement below and it's yours. This took me 2 minutes to make, and I should have took the post, but all the comments, supplement. And guess what? It's just a YouTube video that I did on a live for free the week before. I just downloaded it and put it on YouTube. That's it. Yes, Damon.
Jacob told me to do this, right? And I got 100 responses. I told you, Jacob. So I did this on my platform, about 100 responses. I told you, Jacob. The PDF took me 5 minutes. All I said is high protein meals for men. I copied and pasted them from BBC Good Food. I promise you, Jacob. Remember you told me to do 100 responses, and then my DMs were going crazy. Just because I put high protein meals for men and they said,
so every 2 weeks you can do something like this, right? And guess what? Another thing you can do just to maximize this and make it a little bit better is, let's say you have about 4 or 6 different variations. It might be one nutrition based, one mindset based, one training based, blah, blah, blah. You want to try and keep a track of what gets the best reaction, what gets the most comments. Then you can double down on that. You want to double down on the winners. So you want to keep the winners, cut the losers, right? But experiment. Guess what? Sometimes you're going to do it and no one's going to comment. You're going to be thinking, oh, that flopped. That flopped. I've had it so many. I've had more flops than wins. But I flopped because it's good. It teaches me what's going to win in the end. So it doesn't matter if no one comments. That's a good thing, because now you know that one's shit. That don't work. I ain't using that one again. All right? So be comfortable with that. Just know that that's going to happen. Yeah. Do I what? Yes. Yes. Or because I'm going live every week, or I'm doing something for free every week, I can kind of repackage it. Because let's be honest, when we're talking about fitness, we're usually touching the same topics over and over again anyway. But like, we're just a new training, an update. So yes, I do, to answer your question. Now we're going to get a little bit technical, a little bit. I know the tech people in here are going to be like, they don't like this, but I'm going to give you guys a bit of a visual concept here. So with the giveaways, the content is the start of the funnel to earn the traffic, right? That's the start of the funnel, right? All you need to do is create content. That's the first part. Cool. Then you need to upload that giveaway to a Google Drive. It could be, or OneDrive, whatever you use. So whether it's a PDF, whether it's a video training, put it on Google Drive. Now, systems. You're going to use MailerLite. It's free. It costs £0. It's absolutely free. You can do so much with it. I can't believe it's free, to be fair. Or Notion to create a landing page. What's a landing page? A landing page is where someone lands on a page and they have to give an email, a name to download something. Yeah, that's it. No, there's no like home, about me section. Like they can't click off the page. That's it. They have to put their details in. You can create that on MailerLite for free. They have templates. You ain't got to design a website. It's done for you. Notion, again, you can create it on there, free. Cool. You're going to collect their information, and then with MailerLite, you can actually automatically send them an email. So with MailerLite, I create about 3 or 4 automatic emails. The first one is obviously the training. Boom, here's the training, boom, 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 boom. So, done that, boom. Now in that process, I create about 3 or 4 nurturing emails. And every time I send them an email, I'm pushing them to actually get on a call with me. And this is it visually. So the reason I put TikTok at the start is because TikTok, you get the most engagement, right? So there's a reason I put that, but doesn't matter. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. So you post something, you create something, you give it away, download page. Now, when they download it, obviously they give their name, email, maybe their number if you have that on the form. You don't have to, but it might drop the rate, the download rates, but it's up to you. Cool. Email 1, they get the guide. Email 2, some type of value. Email 2 might be about your story, where you came from, your journey. But guess what? At the end of the email, hey guys, if you want to know a bit more, book a call with me. And that link's going to take them to here. Email 3, again. Email 4, by email 4, I'm saying I'm being a bit more blunt now. I'm going to be like, look, you know, you got the free guide, It's been a week now. You know, if you're really serious about this, we know that free stuff is not what makes a difference here, because if it was the information you'd look for, you'd have the result already. The information is already out there. So I'll give them a real blunt message to book a call. By then, if they ain't booked a call, depending on how hungry you are, I'm going to call them. Depends if you've taken their number. Get on a call, make the sale. That's literally it. That's our process. That's our process. And it's so simple. Like, it's so simple that like people don't do it because it's like so simple. It's too simple. People think, oh, that must not work. So now the launch post. This is probably the most rinsed thing I've seen on social media for online coaches. I've got 3 slots available. Who wants to join in? Or I'm looking for 5 men who want to achieve X. There's nothing wrong with doing a launch post like that. But now in 2023, what I've noticed that works better is actually linking the launch post to something relevant that's happening right now. So a launch post is basically just announcing that you've got slots available or you're taking on new people, right? But don't overthink it. We can launch for any reason. Summer, carnival's coming, Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's, birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Easter. That's what, how much was that? 8, 9, 10? That's 10 different things. So I can do that every 6 weeks. And what I'll do is like, oh, summer intake's available. I'm taking on 4 guys who want to get in amazing shape for the summer. I make it relevant. Carnival, I might just say, do a special giveaway because it's carnival. I might do it, obviously, Black Friday. If you guys ain't got your content plan ready for Black Friday, you got to start thinking about that. Christmas, New Year's, birthday, Mother's Day. Easy. So when you start thinking on that level, you can actually do a launch every 4 to 6 weeks, because something's happening like every 6 weeks in this country, right? So you can use that instead of having like a blunt, oh, I'm looking for 5 guys who want to achieve X, because everyone does that. So now we've got to just penetrate that, but in a different way. And we need to use what's happening around us to be a bit more effective with it. So I've just put an example here of how I would do it now. Summer intake, boom, boom, boom. So now I'm saying I'm opening slots, but it's related to the summer. I have all my social proof attached to it, and I talk about what they're going to get. But I don't talk about the program that they're going to get. I talk about what they want. Improved libido, better testosterone, feeling better, more attractive, whatever it may be. And I give them a time frame. I say you're going to drop 15 to 30 pounds in 90 days. The reason I do that, and it's just a personal preference, you don't have to use weight, you don't have to use time, but it's what I call a QER, quantifiable end result. So they know exactly what they're going to get in that time frame. And in the caption of this post, I usually like to disqualify people. So I'll say something like, cool, this is only for people that are ready to invest in their health. This is for people that are coachable. This is for people that are willing to listen. This is not for people that want to go on a liquid diet. This is not for people that don't want to work hard. This is not for people that think they know it all, all right? So you want to disqualify people, because then you can actually get people that are serious. Because when you do posts like this, people will message you and they'll be like, is it free? And they'll be like, is it free? No, it's not free. I don't work for free. So that's kind of how you want to do it. You can use this as an example. If you guys want this actual one, I'll send it over to you if you guys want it. And it's easy. And then at the end, I have a very simple call to action. I know it's a bit small, but I'll just say, look, drop me a DM with the word optimize, and I'll get you started or whatever. And I always say like 5 spaces, 7 spaces, 3 spaces. Let them know that there's some scarcity to it. And be honest, like there's sometimes I can only probably take on another 7 clients. I can't take on 10, 20. So that's important. And you can actually, I can rinse this again for Carnival. I can rinse it again for Black Friday. I can even do my birthday. I'll be like, it's my birthday. I'm giving away 5 slots. My birthday's in October. Perfect timing. Cool. So you got to start thinking about what can you use. It was, whose birthday was it the other day? The King's birthday? I could even use the King's birthday. I'm very patriotic. I love my country. Because it's the King, I'm giving away 5 slots for people that want to work with me. You can literally use anything to do a launch post, but you have to be creative. Next one for me, please. So long term, a lot of the things I mentioned, some of it is quite time intensive. I'm not going to lie to you. The messages, creating stuff, it can be time intensive. So when you do get to a certain level of income, there's certain parts of the business that you might want to outsource. I'm not going to go through hiring and stuff today. Obviously, that's a whole nother training. But when you do get to a certain level, you're probably going to hire a virtual assistant to maybe post your content for you, or maybe send out the first message where they open a conversation. And the benefit of that, I know sometimes we're very precious about our businesses. Like we're the best at everything, but you can't be the best at everything. There's going to be people that are better at messaging than you are. All right. And when we do that, you got more time to do what you want to do, because all you're trying to do is buy back your time. Because I don't want to be in a DM sending 30 messages every single day. So if I can hire someone, then I will. And places like Upwork, online jobs, you can actually get someone that can do that for you at a decent rate. Don't use Fiverr for that kind of stuff, because I think the quality on Fiverr is not too good. But you can use Fiverr to download stuff. So that's pretty much it. This was a little bit different to the talks before. This was more strategy, tactics. But these are things you can start to use today. And that challenge, I need you guys to do that challenge tonight. So any questions for me, please?